All right. What's up, everyone? What's up, Sergeant?
Hello, good morning, sir.
Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Have you been checking the chain recently, Sergeant, for high probability trades?
I've been
I know
checking the
I have.
chain,
Are
checking it
they
thoroughly.
high probability trades though? That's really the key,
Oh, yeah, that's the thing. There's not many.
Or have you been checking the
You know,
chain for dog shit?
it's kind of hard not getting distracted nowadays, but we got to keep it thorough, to be vigilant as much as we can.
Yeah, I think and I can share. Yeah, let me share my screen real quick. So. Yeah, we can just
So I
briefly
think
talk
as well, we
about
wanted to just,
Bitcoin.
sorry, we wanted to just talk about as well, didn't we? We wanted, for anyone that's not in the pit, the meme of checking a chain for high probability trades and just kind of explain what that means for us. Because
For sure.
initially it kind of started off as just literally checking the chain, going through Etherscan, checking wallets, checking distribution of holders, putting a contract address through Rug Radar. What's that website called? Token Sniffer. But
Yep.
it's kind of evolved. What do you think checking the chain means for you?
Yeah, what checking the chain means for me is finding limited downside. And I think especially right now when it looks like Bitcoin, potentially put in a local top for a little bit. I don't really know how long, but given that the market is, it could dip more. I'm kind of mentally preparing for some instability here in Bitcoin to the downside. So with that, it really just means that I have to focus more on probabilities and trades where it's like such an asymmetric opportunity where the downside is heavily limited. And so I think coming up with a thesis around something that's kind of like a new concept and that's also somewhat undiscovered, I would say those are the two things that I've been focusing on recently. That's kind of what checking the chain for high probability trades means to me right now.
Yeah, kind of similar to me. I was thinking about it yesterday, and I thought we're holding money in projects, and to me, checking the chain means becoming the best and most knowledgeable about the things that you hold, because the things that we hold, we should know everything about it. We should be we should be number one more than anyone else. We should understand this project because that's what creates edge, and that means we know the value of it. And too many people in this game are holding stuff they don't even know what it does, or they just buy it and do the research. So to me, checking the chain is being I'm checking everything in this project. I'm going to read the holders. I'm going to check their wallets. I'm going to put the contract address through ChatGPT, ask the questions. I'm going to look around and see if there's anything similar. Because if you don't know your project better than anyone else, then you have no edge. So that's kind of been the evolution to me. It's been making sure you understand your holdings more than anyone else, because when that stuff dips to low market cap, you need to be confident that the reason why it's low is that no one knows what you do, and that gives you the conviction to bid. So that's kind of where I'm at now. We'll be able to look at a couple projects which are at that stage now where we've got to be believers even though everyone else isn't. It's kind of my theory.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, it makes for some of your projects, there's such low market cap, and you have enough confidence in your thesis where you don't care if it dips another 50%. Whereas if you aped peas right now, you can pull up the peas chart, and this shit dipped. Let's see if we can get a screen share. Yeah, if you aped peas right now, using this as an example, and this just nuked 50%, I would not feel confident about this. But if you have some kind of long-term thesis like friend pet, for example, let's say like you bought, one of these tops and it dips 50%, like you wouldn't really care because it's so small and you know what you have.
Yeah. And that's the hard thing as well, isn't it? Is like being early and not understanding whether it's because you're wrong or because it is early.
Yeah,
Because it's hard to
for
differentiate
sure.
between the two.
It really is. Yeah. And I mean, unless you're in like some absolute dog shit, like you probably will eventually be right, you know? Like
Yeah.
at some point any crazy thesis that no one else knows about that you build will probably end up coming true, But yeah, I mean
And the amount of
you
time
need
that's
enough. Yeah, the amount of time for it to play out
patience.
is, yeah, exactly, is a big deal too, because liquidity is so important in the bull. Like, I don't want to be stuck with 25K USD in friend pet during this while I'm doing like, multiples on Solana shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's
Exactly. Yeah. That's
sizing.
why, like, even checking the chain, there's even like with your portfolio holdings, it's like diversifying your portfolio and having, like my portfolio, I'll be honest, isn't really diversified. I haven't got high caps, they're all pretty risky. But when I said diversified, I mean like quite a slow and steady gainer, hasn't really
Yep.
shown any sign of weakness, but it's been really slow on the upside. I think the first time we shared FriendPet on stream, I think it was at low, wasn't it? Literally Pico low. And when we was on stream, we had
right here.
No, it was the next low. It was the next. No, that was when I shared it in the pit. We shared it on stream on the next.
So it was like right here.
So, that was a pit, but the second one was on the after it pumped to all-time high. So it was
right here.
cents.
Oh, got it. Yeah, we shared it here. So yeah, it's still done well.
Yeah, so that's still a 2x and reliable 2x, and hasn't been giving me a heart attack. Like, I don't want to have all my holdings in things that's going to make me mentally ill.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, I mean, after like Bitcoin topped, and this thing is, it's kind of almost at the top of the range. So, Bitcoin could go to 35K, and I'm sure this would be fine.
Yeah, and I believe as well today they have an update coming out. As far as I'm aware, the announcement for FriendPet World. So they're supposed to be announced to today, and then before February ends, Volume V3 comes out. So that seems to be the catalyst. Base chain as well. The charts do look good, like overall. A lot of projects are starting to push. Toshi's looking good. Moki's looking good, which is like the second project in Base, meme coins, and Base still hasn't had the love that we've been talking about for a long time.
For sure. Yeah, I mean,
now
I think it's going to run with ETH.
When
ETH finally starts running, I think this is going to, it's going to go.
Yeah.
But so you said they're coming out with FriendPet World. Yeah,
so it's going to be a new user interface update. So it's going to be more colorful. They got some kind of game which you haven't announced some news on. They got like stakes to play, so you can actually stake FriendPet to play. I think after the news, some guy bought like $25,000 by yesterday. So there are people waiting.
That was this.
But people are watching this chart and they think they got time, so they don't buy. So like there's people watching from the sidelines. And I think when people start to see this move, they're gonna start buying in, because it doesn't take much to move this chart. The volume is so low, and but I can't see myself selling, because I know exactly the second I sell, time's proven that's the day it'll go crazy. So I'm holding this one and hoping my thesis plays out.
Yeah, I like my.
I'm getting a bit impatient, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's not that big of a bag of mine anymore. I sized down like kind of through this chop. I cut my bag in half just because I wanted the liquidity for other stuff, just knowing that I have enough to care about it
Yeah.
right now, and when it finally starts moving, I'll probably add again. So
Yeah.
yeah.
When you have a good
We'll see
team
when
and
this thing...
team's been building, it's honest dev. Like that's half of the battle in crypto. If you can get an honest dev that's
sure.
building consistently, week by week, got a good vision, backed by the base team, and also since the ETF base chain, also Coinbase is going to be the custodian of the ETF inflows, right? So that creates there's going to be a base narrative at some point. That's my logic, and if it takes 3 months, 6 months, that's fine, because I'd rather have a 10x over 6 months than zero and out on shitcoins, which is very easy to do if I go all in.
Yeah, for sure. I think Coinbase is still... It's going to be interesting to see if this chart, see this chart in comparison to like Coinbase app downloads. I imagine they'll start pushing base chain harder once kind of like retail actually gets involved, and you see Coinbase becoming like a more popular app in the App Store, and the integrations, like direct integrations with base chain, will be interesting. I imagine they'll launch something.
FriendPet ETF flow, so
exactly. ETF money flowing straight to FriendPet. You heard it here first. Cool. Let's keep it rolling. We can maybe briefly talk about Peas too. Do you own any Peas?
I've got a friend who does. He keeps ramming it down my neck every day. That's gone to new all-time highs. No, I just don't understand it. That's the thing. Like, if I don't understand something, I don't typically get involved, and that's just laziness, to be honest. I should have researched earlier.
For sure.
When I was researching, I think it was around 750, I started to understand the project and think this is actually pretty bullish. But at that stage, it didn't have the asymmetric opportunity that I want, so I never entered.
For sure.
How about you?
When one of my buddies, is probably our same friend, was just shilling it, saying how it's like a new Ponzi. It could be the cycle's time, or the cycle's own fork, something similar. I just bought like a FOMO bag. It was like around here. I don't even remember exactly what price, but somewhere around 4. I just threw like 1% of my portfolio in, just not thinking. I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna hold this. Don't care if it goes down like 80%, because I don't really have a thesis around it. But enough people I respect were just talking highly about the fact that it's a new Ponzi. Pixel also, that was kind of like a big shill for me. And if anyone doesn't follow Pixel on Twitter, it's kind of like a must. It's like one of the better accounts, and Pixel doesn't share things very often, or shill coins, and Pixel shared this Ponzi, also somewhere like around here. And I'm like, okay, I have a few smart friends are shilling this thing. Need a bag just in case it goes to 2 billion. I need something. So
I remember when one of our friends shared it as well. I think one of the guys in the pit bought the exploit dump, and then someone advised him. He said, when you buy an exploit dump, you sell it on a 2x. I was like, oh, that makes sense. But it went 2x, and then it actually went another like 20x or something. So, but it seems like quite complicated mechanics, and it's not an inflationary fork. It's not an inflationary Ponzi, which I found interesting. But it was. I just couldn't get my head around it, and if I took enough time, I could. But just given the market cap at this stage, but
it's not worth. It's not worth like investing your time and building like a really strong thesis around aping with size, like up here, because the risk of it, retracing and being boring for a while, is too high versus like what are you holding out for? You're holding out for like, 100 to 500 mil, 100 to billion. Like,
Yeah,
I wouldn't say it's not a high probability trade.
yeah. It just,
Yeah,
to me, like, everyone kind of knows about it. I don't typically take in-play trades. I call them in-play trades. I very rarely take trades that have already been out for a while. I would take the trade if it was before that first high around the 2024 mark, before it hit the old all-time highs. If you go back, first, I would take it before then. Anytime, around before it took out the first high, I would have taken the trade
for sure. Or even like, I mean, even the retest of the high would have been great, but we weren't paying attention. So, let's keep things moving.
Can't be everywhere at once.
You want to talk about Satoshi VM for a sec, or I haven't been paying attention to this one.
Yeah. So, yes. So, I was low key tracking this, like subconsciously. I knew it existed, but I didn't really. Sometimes when you know something's coming out, but like you just don't pay it like even 10 seconds in depth, and it just launched out of nowhere, and it went crazy. There seemed to be a bit of FUD recently because of KOLs, as they call them, key opinion leaders. And they sent a lot of the tokens out to them, large percent of the supply. But typically these L2s, they typically, if they, because it's a meme, right? When the L2 comes out like Sway and Aptos, and they have no projects on them, they typically come out at $1 billion market cap. Generally, that just happens. So this project has L2 narrative, but also has a first mover on Bitcoin narrative. I'm not personally very keen on L2s on Bitcoin. I think they're complacent because it's just a case of doing the same thing and then just porting it over to Bitcoin. It seems lazy.
Sure.
There should be different solutions. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. This game, it's all meme anyway. This is part of the new index, BSSB, MUBI, all them things, and MUBI's currently about 250 million market cap. So to me, this should be higher than that de facto. It just has to be.
Sure.
I did buy some at $6, but I sold at about 10.
You bought some at 6 and sold some at 10, you said?
Yeah, it's about 11.
So you're
I sold
out now.
it. And I'm out now. Yeah, I rotated to something we'll talk about later because of the just the asymmetric opportunity. And I just didn't expect it to be going so high today. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I find it hard to sustain this amount.
For sure.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's no way this is going to keep running. I was saying with Bitcoin not looking that great, to have this thing just like Moon is pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's got to be China money. That's how I look at it, because we don't have that. It just seems like we haven't got that much volume. It came out on the first day, $128 million volume. That's not normal. That money's got to be somewhere prior to today, and that's not seen in many other tokens on ETH. But that's how I look at it. It's a bit like out of the ordinary. This thing comes out Satoshi VM. The West doesn't care about these things. Firstly, they just don't. They don't know what it is. And it pops out on day one, $128 million volume. There's something interesting there. When I first saw that, I think I posted it at $3 in our chat, and then we was all like, "It's late, let's wait for a pullback." Next second, it's $6. I was like, you know what? I just bought a DCA bag, my first part. I thought, you know what? I'm gonna get some in now. If it dips lower, I'll buy some more. And it never dipped back to $6 again.
Yeah.
But this I think this is definitely one to watch out for moving forward. Even though it seems a bit high right now, the circulating supply is actually 69% of the supply. So it's 31% team tokens. So the real market cap is it's actually there now, actually, sorry. It's 93 million. because before it wasn't showing.
Okay. Got it. Cool. Yeah.
So
I mean,
it's
I think
yeah.
I would probably wait for something like this to cool down. It seems like it's kind of in like
Yeah.
a risky area right here. I could see like a double top or something, like maybe it pumps another 50% and then has like a massive retrace.
Yeah. I think as well, like I kind of like this, like Tia, the way Tia's been moving, those things happen sometimes where you're just like, all right, this thing can't keep going, and then every week you check, it's higher.
Yeah.
That's how I look like. I feel like this is going to be one of them things, personally.
Really? Yeah, I don't know. I think Tia keeps going because everyone's staking it, and
yeah.
I have some thoughts. We can kind of get into that in a minute with like the Jupiter airdrop and other like stake tokens. But yeah, I agree. I like this one. I just personally I wouldn't buy it here, but I would definitely try to grab some when it on a retrace and once it starts to put in some good structure again.
Cool enough.
Yep. Yeah, I think let's kind of go over the Jupiter airdrop real quick. I don't know. I haven't even checked how many points I'm going to be getting. I should be because I've been using Solana for a while. Do you know if you're going to be getting anything?
So last time I checked about a month ago, I wasn't eligible for not a single token.
Not really.
I've only just recently bridged to Solana, like since I think the first thing I bought on Solana was maybe a used car.
Mm-hmm.
Might have been the first thing I bought. Yeah, like I was buying small stuff a long time ago, but nothing significant.
Sure.
So I kind of missed out on that airdrop. How about you?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've definitely been using Solana for a while. I had a pretty big break, but remember I first bought Bonk about a year ago. And so I don't know if I was using Jupiter then or if Jupiter was even out. Might have been Radium or something, but yeah, I should be getting it. I've been shitcoining on Sol for a bit, so we'll see. Yeah, haven't checked yet. But it's really interesting that Mock Jupe, this fake Jupiter meme token, has just gone ballistic.
So what's the multiple on that from bottom?
Let's see. It's like, I don't know, 13x or something.
13x.
Yeah. Yep. Something like that. But yeah, pretty hilarious. Makes sense. I think. Are you going to be playing anything like going into the Jupiter airdrop, or just really kind of paying it no attention?
I'm not going to get involved just because of like I said, the edge thing. I'll just be holding my used car because it's reliable.
So, do you have any I think pretty much everyone's prediction is that this is going to like inject the Solana ecosystem with a crazy amount of liquidity and everything is just going to go ballistic.
Yeah, typically that's how it goes, right? But I think first it extracts the liquidity, doesn't it?
Yep.
It's going to be
so yeah, I think as people. Yeah, I think because people love trading these things when they go live because they think it's going to potentially like 2x. I think you can kind of look at what Pith did. Pith dipped pretty solid in the beginning. Dipped to like 0.27 and then did about a 2x. Was doing massive volume right around then. And this is probably like 10 times Pith, or not 10 times, but definitely a multiple. So yeah, I think everyone is thinking about like trying to snipe the bottom of whatever launch dip, So people will be selling their shit coins, gathering liquidity, looking to ape whatever launched it for Jupiter, and then hopefully sell on a 2x. I mean, a lot of people will just claim their stuff immediately, but yeah, I expect everything for the next week or so up until the drop. Everything will probably dip, maybe even more. I could see this, kind of floating down a little bit, back towards the bottom of the range before another week, maybe taking off with the rest of the ecosystem. So I think, just plotting like your favorite Solana shitters. If you have conviction in them, there's probably going to be like a solid dip this week, just as people gather liquidity for the Jupiter airdrop.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. We can talk about Pith real quick. This is something that I want to start staking. There was just an announcement, I believe, that not an official announcement, but there's speculation that Monad is going to be airdropped to Pith stakers, and I believe Eigenlayer as well. So that announcement was made, I think, somewhere around here, and then Pith's just been doing really well ever since. It's kind of similar to why T has done so well, is because stakers are just going to get basically get rained airdrops all year. So I think now that there's a kind of a narrative that Pith stakers are getting airdrops, I think overall Pith is a great buy to stake and do the same, and price probably is going to perform a lot better.
Yeah, isn't Pith like the Lido of Solana? Is that what it's supposed to be?
No, it's the Chainlink of Solana.
I said the Chainlink of Solana makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, it's an oracle, which I think is a narrative I don't really care about. I don't think it's going to. It's one of those like low risk narratives, but I'm not here to like get a 2x on Chainlink. So
that's a lot of holders.
Yeah, there's a lot of holders. But I am here to claim like free money. So I'm going to stake some of this very soon, and we'll see how that goes. You're not really big into staking and like airdrop farming, right?
For me, it's just the I kind of like I said, this is kind of like checking the chain for me as well. Like my calculations for me personally, and maybe it's different for others, is that over the period of the last 12 to 18 months, I've only really seen 5 to 6 good airdrops. Arbitrum, what other ones were there? What other big airdrops were there? Yeah, Pith, Blur. There's maybe 5 or 6. T was an airdrop, but in regards to known prior, you have to do 100 airdrop. You have to farm like 100, and that becomes a full-time job and a distraction. Yeah. And then when you look at the the return on investment, for me personally, I don't think it's good for me. But other people have different skill sets that can farm these things and have the attention span. But for me, I prefer to farm inscriptions. It's just another method, really.
I think you can kind of follow other accounts that you trust and that have done well on airdrops, and you can filter that list of like 100 to like 10 high likely ones. And I think there are ways with limited effort for you to adjust your probabilities of making a lot from airdrops in general. Like how many of our friends have been ready for this Jupiter airdrop and like going to be claiming a lot of money from it? A lot of them are, and so I think there are ways to figure out like the best ones.
Yeah, it's just hard. Like I've only received one airdrop ever, and that was Arbitrum, which was a good airdrop.
Yeah.
But that was only by luck, because I was just using it anyway. You know,
Yeah.
so that was. But I've never had any airdrops besides that.
Yeah.
Just due to laziness, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Arbitrum was everyone kind of knew about it too. So that was another one that was hyped for like a year that everyone knew about.
Yeah,
it was easy. It was easy. You know what I mean?
it was, but a lot of us still didn't max out.
Yeah, totally. It's funny, but yeah, we can keep moving. Briefly talk about used car. Yeah, I think the chart just looks. I mean, I think it looks great for consolidation period. It's only a matter of time before this thing breaks out. It's probably after the Jupiter airdrop. I can see us bottoming in about a week. Airdrop happens, then everything goes. But yeah, I think given its strength after BTC and Solana kind of short-term topped, has been really cool to see. It was really like after this dip right here. Magic Eden kind of announced an official partnership. Chartfu announced he was back in. You know, and Solana has not been doing well, and this thing has been, you know, pretty much chopping, but like, you know, it's still in kind of trending up towards the top of the range, while the rest of the market has been down and Solana has been down. So definitely looking forward to this resolution. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been one of the longer ranges I've seen in a shitcoin for a long time. But I know. A higher low. I've been checking the chart for quite a while now. Look at like the last pump looked pretty good. Like I thought I was going to put in a higher low, like a lot higher low, but then it retraced below it because it's the most recent pump.
Yep. I think it's not completely immune to the rest of the market. So I think Solana pulled it down a bit. So let's see. What else was I going to ask? Oh yeah, someone in the chat asked where you can stake your PIF. I think it's like an official PIF staking platform. I'll post it in the pit on Discord after the show real quick. So I would check in there. I'll post a link. So let's see. This is something that I also did pretty well on recently. Another Solana shitter. Tolly reshared this. It's kind of funny. Like I bought something on a Tolly shill and did like, 15x in a couple days. But yeah, Tolly like reposted the official account that was blasting out like a Harambe meme or something. And so I bought the first top at around 1 million, and just held, knowing that I would potentially hold it to 0. And it just caught like an insane bid. And do you know what the story on this candle is?
No. What happened?
So the dev basically dumped his entire position,
wow,
all of his tokens, which was like $100,000, and there were just so many people on the sidelines that, within like, how long did this take? Like not even an hour. It was like within like an hour and a half, it was already completely ate it up. And so the joke is that the dev is completely out and it's like 100% community now. And so if that is true, I think it's pretty bullish, I think, because you're not depending on a developer to do anything. And literally everyone who holds this knows that they're not depending on them for anything, which I think if something can go up when you're literally not depending on any sort of dev updates, any sort of team marketing. It's a high probability trade for me. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, because you can't be let down by anybody.
Exactly.
And do you know Ask Mummy, the Twitter influencer?
Yep.
Do you know? I shared a link. So if you click on a link, after it reached 20 million, I realized this lady, she was I don't know if it's a lady, it might be a guy, was sharing Harambe pretty early.
Yep.
Yeah, and she or he is normally, when they're shilling something, it's normally time to pay attention. They've been early on quite a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is behind this person, but yeah, I don't know if I follow the account, but I was doing some research, and I think she made a coin in 2021 called Ass. It was like Australian sheep shepherd, something like that. And it did really well. And I think she was early to Bitcoin and Harry Potter and a few other projects.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure this was like an early Milady account, you know?
Yeah.
So Ask Mommy probably printed off Milady's and then printed off of HPOS, and then kind of turns them into like this cycle's, one of the cycle's like main characters in terms of shitcoins, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, Ask Mommy's a great one. Yep. So I would definitely pay attention to this account. Let's see. You can take a look at Whiff real quick. So the thing I like about Whiff is they have perps now on Hyperliquid, and I think given the attention to Whiff, I think it obviously there might be chop here. There might be more downside in the very short term, but this thing is going to get a Binance spot listing. Coach just mentioned that there are perps on Binance, and so it's kind of launching or following the Bonk playbook. Bonk had perps first on Binance, did tons of volume, and then the Binance spot listing marked to the local top. And so just kind of got like a 3x long here from about 28 and ready to add if it goes lower. I think this thing is like pretty low risk in terms of it's going to pump into some sort of Binance spot listing, in my opinion. So it's kind of something I have going. Let's see.
I've noticed a lot of projects as well, when they go through this cycle, they normally hit like 1.4 billion range. Like Bonk hit it, Pepe hit it, Sats hit it, Audi hit it. Just, it's an arbitrary number, but it's just something I realised they tend to like. It's normally around that, at least a billion mark around that stage.
Yeah,
but I guess
I think like
what Bonk's doing, can this flip Bonk? It seems to have a strong community.
Exactly.
I think.
I think the community and the shilling, like the rating behind this one, is actually one of the strongest in terms of memes. No one is like rating for Bonk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Bonk isn't really a meme anymore.
Definitely like what? Bonk is a value play now.
Yeah.
Bonk generates more revenue than I think any other token on project on Solana.
How was that?
Did you know that?
Bonk bot?
Yeah, because of the Bonk bot. Isn't that hilarious? And
it's hilarious, but like normally
I don't know the exact.
Bearish, right?
Yeah, but there's no real like direct correlation between Bonk and BonkBot. I think they just do like buyback and burns. So they're just like burning Bonk. So it's not like you need to buy Bonk to use it. I'm not exactly sure what happens, but I know that like revenue is somehow tied to burning Bonk. So, if people still think about Bonk as a meme token, and BonkBot still, is a successful bot project on Solana, I could see that like helping the chart a bit. So
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we'll see. Definitely long Bonk as well. I think being long right here, risking like these lows, is a decent probability for me. So yeah, long Bonk as well. Let's talk about print for a second. Someone shared print in the pit at 1 million. This thing topped out at 25. I faded. I don't really like printer meta because it's kind of like a one-day thing every couple of years. So I'm okay with, and there's always print tokens coming out that tank and then go to zero. So it's you have to, how do you know that this one is the time is right for this one, and print meta can do well? And we haven't seen another print token do well. So, maybe I would ape the next one, given if this one still looks pretty good. But I'm not gonna be the first one trying to throw money for some old meta being recycled that I don't know is hot right now.
Yeah, I hear that. It's like our friend shared it with me. He said it's a first mover, and I just completely mid-curved. I was like, what's this guy talking about? A reflection token isn't really a first mover. But then he said there aren't any reflection tokens on Solana. I don't know whether that's an ethos thing on Solana, it's kind of bad ethics, but I haven't seen any other reflection tokens. I don't know why that is. People are calling this the next Safe Moon. I don't know what the best.
Yeah, I don't. I don't think I've ever aped a tax token on Solana. But that being said, slippage naturally on Solana is just so high because people are playing with small amounts. Just a lack of pool liquidity is pretty standard on Solana. So people are pretty used to trading with high slippage on Solana. So I imagine there is probably something to it where someone, I trade Solana shitcoins with 2 to 3% slippage all the time, and that's just what you have to do to buy. To buy Harambe at 100K, you're going to eat 5% slippage. But so if people are ready to do that, then they probably would be fine with paying tax too.
It's 8%, but if you look down there, it says type token 2022. I think that's a different token standard. If you look at another chart, if you look at another chart to compare it.
Yeah. See. Where?
Yeah, so it doesn't say anything on that one because I think print is a different token standard, which is interesting for me. I'm actually considering looking at this a bit more because I just remember when Safe Moon came out, and this could be I know it's a meme, but I can imagine the name's very catchy and the volumes are crazy. That much volume for a reflection token, 4 million. That's a lot of reflections. That's what's that. Sure. I did the calculations of if I bought a bag and it was paying out a lot per day.
Yeah. And there aren't that many holders also for this market cap. Used car has, it's not that much higher. It's not that much higher, and it has 3x, a little over 2.5x the holder base. So people, I guess it's larger size that are probably okay just holding because they're getting reflections. So it's probably a solid holder base.
Yeah,
but
I think as well, most people will say stuff with this. Oh, it's a reflection token. It's normal, and I think they could potentially downplay it. It's my opinion. I'm not saying I'm entering here. I'm
Yep.
just saying that like I'm on the fence.
It's worth looking into the token standard. I agree, because if this is something new, it's like anytime you have something new, it just automatically will catch a bid. So if this is like the first in a new standard, like if we see other derivatives popping off using the standard, then I would 100% ape this.
Yeah.
So yeah, worth keeping an eye on for sure. Do we want to go? Yeah, let's go into INS. INSE.
Yeah, INSC. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is this is probably my favorite trade right now. This is like the first time in maybe like 6 months I've actually onboarded more fiat to buy this, just because it's it's an easy hold for me, from several angles. It's like new tech. It's the first launch didn't go well, so you have people that think it's a rug, and really when it seems like the dev actually found the bug and fixed it himself, refunded everyone, and is relaunching having fixed that bug. And so it's definitely not a rug. It was just kind of the cost of doing business for something new. So do you want to kind of give your thesis here?
Yeah. So I found this pretty early, and no one was talking about it. I sent you the Git book if you wanted to take a look at it. It's currently sitting at, I think it's sitting at like a 1 million market cap. V1 hit a 10 million market cap, and it was just reaching its stride. But the reason I'm bullish on this is because it's the first inscription that's compatible with EVM, and there is competitors, but that's not compatible with the EVM, so it can't be traded on OpenSea. It has to be traded on their own marketplace, and their one, it's not permanent. It can be pruned. So this one is permanent. So once it's inscribed on chain, it's on chain forever. And it kind of uses inscriptions as a smoke screen, because really what it is it's a dual token standard. It allows for a NFT and token to coexist within the same contract. That's crazy. First mover.
Yep.
Yeah. So when all these NFTs are minted out, there'll be a Uniswap pool, and then you'll see all of the NFTs off of OpenSea, and then they'll be on Uniswap. So that's a pretty interesting dynamic we've never seen before. Prior you would have to deposit your NFTs on NFTX, and then you would get a collateralized token, like a Rap My Lady token, and your NFTs would be in a pool on an FTX.
Sure.
That's extra steps. With this token standard, you can have all within one contract. So I kind of developed a few theories of what you could do with it. So when you
we're gonna be able to swap
every NFT on OpenSea
trade this on Uniswap.
Exactly, yeah. But the cool thing is if you buy 1,000 tokens on OpenSea, which is a standard batch, once a fungible token comes online, you'll be able to consolidate all your NFTs into one. So you could have like one NFT that's worth 10,000 tokens, and it will show 10,000. It will show 10,000 on the front end on OpenSea. So that means it has a dynamic component. So depending on how many tokens you hold, the NFT changes. So you could have like alpha passes. Your alpha pass changes depending on how many tokens you buy. Or you could have like a Pokemon style game where like the more tokens you have, the more evolved your Pokemon is. So another cool thing as well, I found that when you buy a token, when you buy off Uniswap, it automatically mints an NFT. So you can buy NFTs off Uniswap, which has never been done before.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
So if you scroll down though, there is a limit. There's a 63. The limit is 63,000 NFTs that can be inscribed, which I thought was pretty interesting. That means there can never be more than 63,000 holders.
Yeah.
Which could be good or bad. And people will be hoarding them. So if you want to buy the token after there's 63,000 holders, you need to buy an NFT first because it's like a wallet.
Okay.
So that could bid up the floor price, that kind of thing.
Sure.
So that's interesting.
Explain again how the holder base is limited to 63,000, except for if you buy another NFT.
Well, no,
that's quite follow that.
So there can never be more than 63,000 inscriptions.
Yep.
So currently there's 21,000.
Okay.
But when people buy off Uniswap, it automatically inscribes a new NFT.
Yeah.
Because your first NFT is like your balance.
Sure.
So if you buy, let's say you buy 5,000 NFT, let's say you buy 5,000 tokens off Uniswap, it'll mint an NFT balance showing on the front of 5,000.
Yeah.
And then if you buy any more, let's say you buy 2, 3, 4, 5, you can't sell your first one until you sell the others first. Because your first one is your wallet.
Okay.
The first
Got it. Yeah. So I also didn't quite grasp the wallet piece, which is cool. So you have to own one to basically like participate in the ecosystem in general.
Exactly. Yeah. So because what that sacred NFT does, it allows you to move your tokens around. So you can move them around as you see fit. You can be like, oh, I want to move 1,000 to this 2,000, and then I want to list 2,300 on OpenSea. So I'm going to make that NFT. But it goes through your first NFT. That's the vessel, they call it, or the slot. They call it the slot. I call it the sacred NFT because it makes it more understandable. I just say it's sacred because a slot doesn't really denote what it means. But the thing is they're trying to go for EIP, so they've applied for EIP for a new ERC standard. And this new standard won't be compatible with OpenSea or Blur or anything because it's a completely new token standard. So this is the hyperball case. If they are able to achieve this EIP, they'll become the hub of this new token standard. And then NFTs can launch in the future using this token standard, and value will be derived back to this. So this will be like the alpha pass as well. That's the hyperball case. Currently, it's still in the progress of being discussed in the Ethereum development community. But if it does get passed, that's huge news, And I can't see why any NFT in the future would ever launch a normal NFT anymore, because this has all so much composability.
Yeah, I mean the illiquidity issue of NFTs could partly be solved by this. I mean, why wouldn't you just want to trade these things on Uniswap? It's a no-brainer. So I think this is.
So I think what will happen is my thesis is that you'll see people minting NFTs, and then after the mint is out, they add liquidity.
Yep.
That'll be a new thing, which we've never seen before. Like, it sounds kind of strange to think about that. We mint an NFT and then it lists on Uniswap the same day.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
That's pretty cool.
My only concern is if someone comes along and vampire attacks them. Let's say they fork the code and, because of the launch the first time, they get a bit more demand. But shall we have a look at the activity on OpenSea?
Yeah, definitely. And real quick, I wasn't able to, not just this first one, but like the first 2 or 3 were unable to be sold because whoever listed them that was their like first quote unquote sacred NFT, which means you can't sell that one without selling all the others, like you just said. But I think it could be a mistake, but it kind of seems like that would be a strategy to lower the floor or raise the floor. I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what each owner would want to do in this case, but it seems like the owner of this one probably wants to drive down the floor price of all the rest, because they know that you can't even buy this one. But not everyone will think about that strategy, so it'll bring down the floor of everything, and they'll be able to scoop up cheaper. So
yeah, like if you click on, because I've kind of memorized, this is another example of checking the chain. Like I know 6325, but I've been watching them since like it was 0.05.
Yeah.
So if you click on this thing, you click on that, and then click on his owned by
this guy,
and then you go to his activity, you'll see that this guy. So if you go to his activity, you'll see that he has over 70 NFTs, but he only lists this one. So it's a coincidence that the only one he's ever listed since the beginning is his sacred one, and he keeps dropping the price.
So it's definitely on purpose then. Yeah, it's funny. It's a good strategy. I mean, it's helped me buy some cheaper. So
yeah,
thank you, whoever.
So currently, I think about 55% is minted out. So that's kind of the thing people are waiting for, to get to like 70-80% mint out, and that will be less sell pressure. I think for the time being, a lot of people are waiting for that to mint out, and also people are having issues minting because you have to do them singly. So my friend knows someone with 1,000 of these, and who doesn't have the time to do 1,000 approvals on MetaMask. So the second the bulk inscription comes online, then we should see it mint out pretty fast.
Yeah,
but this isn't open to public at present. So if anyone's watching, the only way to buy it is off secondary. But them prices they're pretty cheap prices regardless. And I'm still buying here. I think I'm up to 50 now.
You think what?
I'm up to around 50,
you're up to 50.
NFTs.
Yeah, I think I have about 30 right now.
Yeah, it's just hard not to buy them at this price. And I just think the catalyst is it minting out and then it being listed on Uniswap.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it makes sense to me.
So that's kind of what I'm waiting for.
Cool. So yeah, I mean, I think in terms of like timing too and opportunity, this is like probably my favorite thing that we've gone over today.
Yeah, same.
Let's finish it off with a little bit of Nat, and then I gotta hop off in a minute. But what are your thoughts on Nat? I know you're still like not even thinking about selling yet.
Yeah, like I haven't really considered selling just because of the narrative. So first things first, like BRC20, you don't see many people talking about that anymore. The people, the way I say, the people that know don't really talk about BRC20 anymore. They're talking about other stuff. They're talking about TAP, they're talking about atomicals, they're talking about BRC420, they're talking about NAT, maps. BRC20 is kind of old news. So people have moved on, and long story short. NAT seems to be like a good progression of where BRC20s are going with the Bitcoin standard, which allows emissions, which people are calling hard money now. That's the kind of the meme right now on Twitter, is like NAT has been around since the first block of Bitcoin, they're saying.
Yeah.
It's the oldest coin and that kind of thing. It is on a slight retracement. I do think it hit 0.04 at one point. But I think from our initial mint, I think we're still up 10x at least, which is still really good. And I think it's just due to the market at the minute why it hasn't mooned. But I don't want to sell this, to be honest.
For sure.
Track
Yeah.
is just been in traction. You know, the tap airdrop is next month. Tap comes out next month. There'll be a lot more functionality. They're just budding as an ecosystem. So I do think this is one of the better plays in ordinals. Like, and a lot of the community would agree. It's got backing from China. Yeah, even at these prices, it still ticks all the boxes to me.
Yep. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, this is probably one of those things where you can just hold until there's like more liquidity somewhere, like on a marketplace or something, you know, where it's easier to buy and sell. What's that?
I think we want an OKX listing. That'll be the next thing. But also remember,
exactly.
This is the Block Runners project, and that's a pretty big platform on YouTube. They'll be the ones shunning this. You know,
they'll be pushing this all cycle.
All cycle, yeah. This is their baby, so they seem like pretty smart guys, and the community has latched onto it. And it's kind of like similar to bitmaps, but it's more liquid, and you don't have to sell one at a time. Because the problem with bitmap is you have to sell one NFT at a time. But this, just because it's more fungible, you could sell all in one go, which is more it's more attractive for whales who don't want to buy 1,000 bitmaps and sell. Like, it's too time consuming to sell.
For sure. Makes sense. Yeah.
Should we look at CBR? Should you look at the last one I sent you, Moto?
What should I pull up for Moto? Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, let's do a quick one, and then I gotta hop.
Okay. So yeah, there has been a slight dip. I bought more at 262. I bought quite a lot at 262. It went to $4, but I think it's just generally like a wider market pullback right now. Someone listed today. They listed 5,000 tokens. But this is still like insanely cheap. This was $2 in like April, May time. Now, we got in pretty early. I think we got in at 31 cents on Oshi, and a lot of the pit got in at the same time. And this was airdropped.
I remember that.
But the swap comes out of this by the end of the month, and it'll be the first swap on layer 1 on Bitcoin. And this is the other side of things. Like, you've got Satoshi VM, but then you got which the people prefer. You got this is decentralized data, but centralized computing is how they look at it, because people are always concerned about the indexes being centralized. But if you use indexes, the data is decentralized because it's stored on chain, but the computation is centralized.
Yeah,
I think with layer 2s, the data is centralized. I think it's vice versa. Last time I checked, so it's which way do you want to slice it? You know, there's going to be some kind of centralization at some point, like Arbitrum, for example. You know, it's centralized one aspect, but the sequences are centralized.
Yeah, for sure.
It still goes through one node. So that's the basic premise. But people don't want to. People, I say, the Bitcoiners, they don't want to use MetaMask. They don't want an EVM compatible Bitcoin, which these layer 2s are. You know, it's EVM. That's what it is. People would prefer to just be on Bitcoin, and even though it's just like a psyop, you know, they just want to feel the users feel that they're on Bitcoin. And
they want something unique. You know, they don't want to.
They want something unique. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't want to be piggybacking off of anything Ethereum related. You know.
Yeah. And one guy was saying, he said, why do we need L2s when there's not even much liquidity on Bitcoin as it is? You know, layer 2s is a scaling solution, and you scale when you initially have that base, and currently that's not there yet. So it just seems like an extra step. And also you have the bridger experience as well. Like, the good thing about CBRC20 is there's no bridging. So if you have a Bitcoin wallet You just plug your Unisat wallet in, and then you can buy there and then. So it's less barriers to entry.
Yeah.
And the problem with Unisat is that they launched too quickly. So they launched very quickly. They ran up to $5 billion market cap, and then everyone started using their indexers. It made it very difficult to update. They had to update like 10 different protocols would have to coordinate to be able to make movements in the protocol. So they can't push code, and that's why they're struggling to get their DEX online. But CBRC20, they've had an opportunity to understand this prior to launching, and they can push their code before they launch. So it should be able to have a lot more DeFi functionality. So this is kind
Makes
of
sense.
what I'm liking. And the dev, he's a Western. I think, is he from America? Yeah, he's been doing all of the spaces and kind of rallying the troops in the West. And I really like the position he's taken in the West, and people still don't know about him.
For sure.
Pretty much
he's getting on spaces and he's showing. So I like him. But hey man, I actually have to dip out. But yeah, I think we covered a lot of good stuff. I think we have like a few. There's a couple bangers here, I think. So it'll be exciting to keep going on updates with these. Do you want to keep going by yourself, or should we just call it?
I've got a shoot. I think we have actually covered everything anyway that we wanted to cover. So I think we're good.
Sweet. All right. Thanks everyone.
All right, take care, guys. Thank you.